Yeah, so we're kind of standing around after episode 1 of this new series where I'm trying to get a default map with biters and marathon settings into space within 15 hours for the achievement. Because I built this kind of green chips thing in that episode, and then said I'd talk more about it later. And so this is the video where we talk about that. The achievement is busted at the moment because I editor moded in a bunch of other stuff to help me talk about it, and so yeah, let's start with a quote normal green chips thing, as in, if you weren't doing expensive recipes, your ratio of coils to green chips in terms of kind of assemblers is, okay, first of all, have output inserters are good, is three assemblers on coils to two assemblers on green chips. And this kind of layout is nice because it lets you get two assemblers out of each coils, two inserters out of each coils assembler. The other way I'll do this sometimes is, if you have these two green chips next to each other, you can have a beacon in here, which means you need to worry about your inserters differently, but whatever. But this means that you can fairly nicely tile a bunch of green chips, not with an end game beacons plan, but with a kind of, I'd like just more stuff now, can you do that, thanks, kind of interstitial thing, which is kind of nice. And most of the time you're not really worried about these inserter bottlenecks anyway, because you'll get trains, you'll get stack inserters, you get stack inserter capacity bonus, and so it's just not a thing. Speedruns, however, will largely skip trains, will skip stack inserter capacity bonus, and yeah, I'm kind of talking here about single rocket speedruns. Not 100%, kind of not wave defense because you have the inserter capacity bonus free in wave defense, but things like any percent, default settings, death world, this kind of pattern works well because you have both inserters here, so you're not inserter bottlenecked. You upgrade this by upgrading the coils, but not the green chips. And now, oh yeah, when you do that, you also need to fix the inserter bottleneck you get by doing that. I mean, output inserters, yeah, that was the thing. And now you've got the 3-to-2 coils to chips ratio via building speeds rather than by number of assemblers, and it's also pretty common to be putting these things in speedruns in boxes initially, so that you can run past and pick them all up, then handcraft a bunch more stuff. So with that in mind, in this marathon setting where I'm trying to kind of do speedrun things, actually first in order to be able to demonstrate this, we're going to need you guys to just be making chips all the time and not stopping because the boxes are full. So let's just get all of that out of the way. That might not be fast enough for the next stuff. Yeah, so in marathon settings, the green chips recipe needs 4 assemblers on coils, constantly making coils to keep it happy. And so this kind of semicircle things I saw someone else do, which I quite liked, and then figured out how to make it work with the other speedrunner tech of how many inserters do you want if you're not upgrading them, if you're not upgrading capacity and things like that. So this is the first version that we built. The second version, which we upgrade to in the second episode, is again that sort of fairly normal speedrunner thing, actually, except we need these ones as well, because we are continuing to ratio with number of assemblers rather than building speeds. But then we also need to not worry about the insertion capacity issues. We need those things, and we actually also need these and that one. Yeah, so we'll throw all of these in. This is kind of the second evolution of the space. We need a lot more input inserters because we've got 2 iron plates per green chip, so that's a thing. And at this point, yeah, we're running out of iron because at this point in the space I had not built that much iron. I want to demonstrate this with just 1 belt of copper, which is why, yeah, so we'll pipe in 1 belt of copper. This splitter won't see what I'm smelting plus this infinite chest, but whatever. So yeah, so this is the kind of plan of this little box here means that I can have all the inserters to not be blocked, And this is kind of the second stage of that. The third stage is, you know, prod mods and these guys, green chips are like prod mods. At this point, these guys are not, they're idle like 9% of the time or something like that, because this guy has a speed reduced by 10. And then, because it's a marathon, spoilers, I think it's going to be worth going to assembler 3s, so that, not specifically for green chips, but one of the things being for green chips, so I can get 16% productivity off the green chips. The thing is, in that case, this thing is now stuck for coils, so I think the rest of the plan is going to be one speed mod in each of these guys, and then another productivity module in each of these guys. And I think, oh yeah, and then also need to upgrade all of these assemblers, well, these inserters at this point. This is also partly a test to see whether or not this all makes everything that I need it to. And yeah, so these guys are not bottlenecked on either inputs or outputs, which is good. This guy is, like, because the thing I was wondering about is, am I, and it looks like I am, I might actually need another inserter here, so that these aren't output bottlenecked, because the thing about this is, I'm taking 2 inserters of iron in, but the outputs have to manage that plus another 16%, because we've got 16% of productivity coming out. So I think we're going to do that. And the reason why I wanted to test this off one belt is, does this entire thing consume less than a belt of copper? And yeah, the answer to that has to be yes, because we've got 8 assemblers on coils, we've got plus 15% crafting speed, so without the modules it would be 80%. With 15% crafting speed it's going to be a little less than 95% of a belt of copper. So this is going to take us up to nearly full utilization of a belt of copper, and it's going to take us up to like nearly, well, it's going to give us 16% productivity over iron, and then another 4% productivity over coils. The prod mods and the coils are going to take a long while to pay off. Coils are not that much of a great recipe. They're kind of more towards getting this guy not idle, because it's kind of waiting on cogs, and then also getting more off the belt. In fact, I could probably take out, if I took these out, this is probably going to do better, but I think I'm gonna, yeah, whatever. Decisions we have made, we're modulating things, we're going to do that. So this here is going to be, yeah, the part of the reason of the geometry of the thing that I set up is to be able to upgrade it into this form to get more out, because we're getting quite a lot out now. I mean, okay, so this is not beacons. These guys are crafting speed 1, 16% productivity. Productivity is nice because green chips are super expensive in expensive mode. And yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that's the detail about, I wanted to build this thing. I shall talk about it later. That is, we have talked about it. Yeah, green chips.